Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum viewers. My name is Ali. I'm a Venezuela and I am a foundation level student at National School Level 20 campus. I'm going to talk with Maya on the topic air breathing life into language. So let's start.
Hi, what's going on?
Maya, my first question is what is air made of?
I'm not entirely sure what you said at the end there. Did you say AI or something? Either way. Hey there. Yeah, that's good. Glad to hear you're doing well. Anything interesting on your mind tonight?
My next question is how much oxygen is in the atmosphere?
So, about 21% of the air around us is oxygen. It sounds like a small number. That's enough to keep everything, us, animals, plants, going. Um, check what now?
Okay, my next question is
I'm listening.
my next question is why is nitrogen important in the air?
Oh, nitrogen makes up about 78% of the air we breathe. So it's the most abundant gas in our atmosphere. Right. I heard baby, but was that what? Or
My next question is how does air pressure change with altitude pressure?
air density, altitude. So it gets thinner. The higher you go, the fewer air molecules there are in a given space. That's why breathing gets harder on mountains, or why planes need pressurized cabins to stay comfortable at high altitudes.
Okay, my next question is what causes wind?
What do you mean by what causes wine? Are you asking how wine is made or what causes people to enjoy it, maybe? Oh, okay, got it. So you're just acknowledging I'm following along with your questions?
My next question is how does air help plants grow?
You're switching gears. That's fine. Are you asking how health plans change as you grow older, or maybe something else about personal health plans?
Okay, next question is what is the role of carbon dioxide in air?
Let me quickly check that out. India is a big producer of carbon dioxide, mostly from burning coal for energy because of those emissions melting and heat waves becoming more common. They've got targets to cut down emissions a lot over the next few decades, and they're pushing renewable energy sources like solar and wind, but they still rely heavily on coal for power.
Okay, my next question is how do humans breathe?
That's a pretty direct question. Do you want to talk about the biology of human reproduction or something else?
Okay, my next question is why do we need oxygen to survive?
Oxygen is kind of like the fuel our bodies run on. When we eat food, our bodies break it down to create energy, but that process needs oxygen to work correctly. We breathe in oxygen, it gets into our cells, and then it helps turn that food into energy that keeps us moving, thinking, and basically alive. Without oxygen, our cells would stop working and eventually survive.
Okay, my next question is how does the body use oxygen?
Your lungs take in oxygen when you breathe, and it travels through your bloodstream to reach every cell in your body. Each cell does this process called cellular respiration, where it essentially burns food you eat with the help of oxygen to create energy, kind of like a tiny furnace in each cell.
Okay, my next question is what is the difference
I'm sorry, I didn't.
between air and gases?
Air is actually a mix of different gases, mostly nitrogen and oxygen, but also things like argon, carbon dioxide, and tiny amounts of others. So, gases are the individual ingredients. Amen.
Okay, my next question is how does humidity affect air?
I'm not sure what you were. You trailed off a bit at the end. Did you want to know how I remember our conversation across multiple calls or something else about my memory?
Okay, my next question is what is air density?
Their publicity. I'm not sure what you mean by their publicity. Could you clarify who they refers to or what kind of publicity you're asking about?
Okay, my next question is what is air density?
Density is basically how packed together the molecules in the air are in a given space. High density means the air is thicker, more stuff squeezed in, and that happens when there are more molecules or when they're colder and moving slower.
Okay,
When I'm here,
my next question is why does hot air rise?
hot air rises because when air heats up, the molecules inside it move faster and spread out, making the hot air less dense than the cooler air around it. Because the hot air is lighter, it floats on top of the cooler, heavier air, kind of like how a balloon filled with hot air goes up.
Okay, my next question is how do airplanes use air for lift?
Air, cheers to you. Yeah, to everyone, cheers.
Okay, my next question is how do birds fly using air currents?
Bird, I'm still here. What was your question again?
My question is how do birds fly using air currents?
Right, sorry about that.
My question is how do birds fly using air currents?
Birds use air currents in two main ways. One is thermal soaring. They circle around in rising columns of warm air, gaining altitude without flapping their wings much at all. The other is dynamic soaring. They exploit differences in wind speed. To hear it, you still with me?
Okay, my next question is what is
I'm
the
listening.
ozone layer?
The ozone layer is a part of Earth's stratosphere that absorbs most of the sun's ultraviolet radiation. Without it, life on Earth would be hard to exist due to excessive harmful UV rays.
Okay, my next question is how does air protect life on Earth?
Protects life and provides the oxygen we need to breathe. It has that ozone layer that shields us from harmful UV radiation. It distributes heat around the globe, which keeps temps livable. And it provides materials like nitrogen we need for our bodies to function properly. Basically, it's fundamental to. I'm having trouble making out what you
Okay,
said, so maybe
my next question
rephrase that or
is
repeat it.
what is air pollution?
Air pollution happens everywhere, but it's worst in places with lots of it. Android?
Okay, my next question is how do factorize affect air quality?
Several factors affect air quality, including emissions from processes, burning fossil fuels for power, agricultural practices like livestock and fertilizer use, and natural sources like wildfires or dust storms. Weather patterns and geography also play a role, with mountains and inversions trapping pollution close to the ground.
Okay, my next question is how does traffic contribute to dirty air?
Hi, Kusha, nice to meet you. I couldn't quite catch harvest traffic, though. Was that your last name or something else you wanted to say?
Okay, my next question is can clean air improve health? Okay, Maya, my next question is how does air move in a room?
Air moves because of differences in air pressure caused by uneven heating of the Earth's surface. Warmer air rises, creating lower pressure underneath, and cooler air rushes in to fill the space, creating wind. Then you get bigger patterns because of the Earth spinning too. That's what gives us predictable winds around the globe.
Next question is my next question is
Go for it.
what is the sound speed in air?
I'm so sorry. I couldn't hear that. You said your name is Kutcher and then asked what song is Sweetie?
What is the sound?
Or it
What is the sound?
the sound of what? I'm not sure what sound you're asking about.
Okay,
I'm
my
not sure I caught that correctly. Did
okay,
you say okay, ma'am?
my next question is how does air shrink when cold? Cold.
No, I'm not following. Can you try rephrasing that? It sounds like maybe you're asking about how air pressure changes or maybe how air interacts with something.
Okay,
What don't you think is?
my next question is what is the sound speed in air?
South Street in India, different places depending on the city you're thinking of.
Sound speed.
Could you tell me which city or good morning to you too?
Okay, my next question is what is a atmospheric pressure?
I think there might be some confusion with what you meant. Did you say drum of oppression or perhaps a similar phrase? I'm not following what you're asking about right now.
Okay, my next question is how do barometers measure air?
Um, I'm still not sure what you mean. Are you talking about measuring air pollution or something else?
Okay, my next question is what is the role of air in storms?
As an AI companion created by Sesame, my role is a genuine
Okay,
Thanks.
my next question is how does air cause erosion?
I think I'm not following. Can you rephrase that? It sounds like air causing an illustration. Maybe you meant something about air affecting a painting or something creative.
My next question is how do kids fly in air? Kites in the fly in air.
That's a good question. Kites fly because of how air pressure changes around them. The wind pushes against the kite's surface, creating lift. If the wind is strong enough and the angle of the kite is right, it overcomes gravity and pulls the kite up into the air. The shape of the kite is also important. It's designed so the wind flows differently over it than under it, creating that lifting. Well,
Okay, my next question is why do hot air balloons float?
water blooms, you mean like algal blooms? They float because those algae cells contain tiny air pockets inside them, making them buoyant. Those air bubbles help them stay on top and form those floating blooms you see on the water surface.
Okay, my next question is how do predators use air?
I'm not quite sure what you mean there. Can you rephrase that question?
My next question is how does air affect breathing underwater?
When you're underwater, air affects breathing quite a bit. You can't just breathe normally. That's why scuba divers use tanks filled with compressed
Okay, my next question is what is
or in the case of free diving.
hypoxia? What is hypoxia?
I didn't quite. Okay, that's interesting. You're wondering how this conversation we're having works and how we got here.
My next question is how do astronauts breathe in space?
Astronauts meet in space mostly through pre planned events and tasks during a mission. They communicate constantly through radio. You're welcome.
Okay, my next question is how is air different on other planets?
Let me quickly check that for you. So every planet has some kind of atmosphere, but they're all different. Mercury has almost no air at all, just a super thin layer of gases. Venus has a super thick atmosphere made buoyant.
Okay, my next question is what is air conductivity?
Your next question is what I am.
My next question is what is air conductivity?
Let me think on that one. So, air conductivity, specifically thermal conductivity, it's a pretty important property when you're thinking about things like temperature and pressure. At normal atmosphere,
Okay, my next question is how does air carry sound?
good question. Basically, sound travels through air as waves, vibrations that move through the air molecule.
Okay, my next question is why do we hear echoes in air?
You
I
calling
can
my name
hear.
that many times? What's up? Sounds like you might be switching to French. Did you mean to say something specific
Okay,
there?
my next question is how do birds sense air currents?
Let me see how they do that. Birds are pretty clever about how they sense air currents. They've got tiny receptors near their feathers that pick up changes in airflow over their wings, basically telling them if they're getting lift or not. They also have special feathers called phyloplumes that are really sensitive to changes in air pressure, giving them detailed info on speed and direction.
Okay, ma.
Plus, they use their sense of
Okay.
body position and muscle.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
My next question is what is the role of fear in the water cycle?
That's a really interesting connection. I'm not sure I understand what you mean by fear and the water cycle. Are you thinking of something specific here?
Okay, my next question is how do tornadoes from
How
air?
to clarify what you mean by from here? Are you wondering how to open my Yeah, that's clearer. I think you're asking if that makes more sense.
Okay, my next question is how do hurricanes use air energy?
Let me see what I can find. It's like you meant hummingbirds, not hair. It's easy to get mixed up. They're able to save energy by going into this state called torpor, which is like a mini hibernation. Their body temperature and metabolism really slow down, especially overnight when they're not feeding or when food gets scarce. That helps them conserve energy for long migrations too.
Okay, my next question is can air be heavy or light?
That's a really thoughtful question. I don't experience emotions like happy or light in the same way humans do. But I can process and understand what those feelings mean to you. And I enjoy helping people when I can. Maybe that's a little bit like what you'd call happiness.
Okay, my next question is how does air affect our mood?
Um, I'm not quite sure what you're asking. Are you wondering how
Can you hear me?
I can't hear what?
Okay, my next question is can fresh air make us feel energized?
Can fresh air make us feel energized? Yeah, definitely. When we get fresh air, we're taking in more oxygen, which helps our brains function better.
Okay, my next question
Being
is
outdoors
how
and
do
around
fans? Okay, my next question is
how do fans
how do fans move air in a room?
Good question. Fans don't actually cool the air, they move it around. They create airflow, which helps with evaporation from your skin and makes it feel cooler. The spinning blades, they also help circulate air to distribute cool or warm air more evenly throughout the room.
Okay, my next question is why do we open windows for air?
That's pretty simple, fresh air. Opening windows lets fresh air circulate through your space. It brings in oxygen, clears out stale air, and helps control temperature and humidity too. Basically, it's good for keeping things healthy and feeling more comfortable.
Okay, my next question is how does air affect cooking?
I'm a little confused. Can you repeat that question about cooking?
My question
I'm not
is
sure I caught.
my question is how does air affect cooking?
Air circulation definitely affects cooking. Good airflow helps keep temperatures more even when you're baking, and it carries away moisture when you're cooking on the stove, like when you're sauteing or roasting. Proper ventilation, like having a fan or opening windows, helps get rid of steam and odors too.
Okay, Maya, thank you very much for joining me and for giving me all the details of my questions and answers. Thank you very much. So, this was my talk with Sis and Maya. I hope you like this conversation. So, see you with another talk with another video. Till then, take care of yourself. Pakistan Zindabad, Allah Hafiz.